Somebody sing, we shall. Let it ring out that we shall. And we shall overcome. Someday, I believe that deep in my heart. Oh, I believe that we shall overcome. Someday, y'all, listen to this verse. Well, through sickness, heartache and pain, sunshine and storm and rain, in the midst of it all, though we stumble and fall, we shall rise again. Sometimes I feel despair, just know that God is still standing there, and we shall overcome. Someday, y'all, somebody sing, we shall. Let it ring out that we shall. Oh, we shall overcome. Someday, oh, deep in my heart, oh, I believe that we shall overcome. Someday, y'all.
Welcome everybody to the Operation Push Forum of the Saturday morning forum of Rainbow Push. It's all right. It's all right. It's live television. It's all good. You should be here at 4455 South King Drive here in Chicago, Illinois, as our building is undergoing a renaissance, a reconstruction at 930 East 50th Street. We want you to contribute to our rebuilding fund. Please be in touch with us at rainbowpush.org throughout the week. Call us at 773-256-2775 right now. We need you to put Rainbow Push and Operation Push and Push Excel under your Christmas tree. Remember, you cannot ride to freedom on Pharaoh's chariot. We've got to pay the price. Are you willing to do it? Are you willing to do it? We wish everyone a Merry Christmas, and our brothers and sisters of all faiths, we pray that the spirit of Christmas will settle upon each of your lives today. We want you to give your love to the family of Richard Gordon Hatcher, the first African-American mayor of Gary, Indiana, one of the founding members of our organization, one of the chairs of Reverend Jackson's presidential campaigns. Reverend Jackson will be delivering his eulogy today, laying him to rest. We hope and pray that the family of Richard Gordon Hatcher is surrounded by God's love today. Give them some love, everybody. You can do better than that. We want you to get the #1 Amazon bestseller, Keeping Hope Alive. You did it. Come on, give it some love. The sermons and speeches of Reverend Jesse Jackson, these go through the 2000s. You see him, you read speeches that he gave all around the world, and of course in 1984 and 1988 convention speeches. But his work has continued on through the years. He has a ministry that is almost 60 years old. Give Reverend Jackson's ministry and all the people who have supported it some love, everybody. Tonight, we will be gathering at Rainbow Push to have an old-fashioned Christmas family party, amen? That's right, we're bringing the family together. Bring your children and your beverages. But you know, there was a time when parents and children and everybody in between used to have parties together. And don't you think we kind of kept each other in check then? All right, that's what we're doing tonight from 6 to 10. How many of you are going to be there tonight? Give us some love. Come on now. We're going to have some good food, big fun, Christmas caroling, and Mrs. Jackson throws the best parties ever. And we're also going to be working with Child Serve. Who are they? They are an organization that deals with underserved children. Many of our children are in foster care, and when they age out, they have no place to go. When our children are killed, sometimes their parents only want to get them a suit that they can be buried in, or they need burial fees, or they need food during the school year. They do this and so much more, and so we thank God for Child Serve today. Dan Katowski, former state senator, will be with us. That's right, and we want you to stop by their table and give them some love. Show them some love, because we need to support them as they support our children and work on policies and monies that our children so desperately need. As we think of Richard Gordon Hatcher today, the first African-American mayor of Gary, Indiana, the great Richard Hatcher, we're going to bring you a video package to let you know what we've been doing throughout the week, everybody. So stay right there. We'll be back in just a moment.
It's Founders Day. We celebrate our president and founder, two-time presidential hopeful and Congressional Medal of Freedom recipient, Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. He's a survivor, and he's been blessed to have been a long-distance runner. We are grateful for him today. Meeting and working so closely with Dr. King was a noticeable asset to Reverend Jackson's life. He had a vision in making a better life, making a better America. Through the years, Reverend Jackson has been a faithful servant for the cause of civil rights, making life better for the people around him, and leaving footprints of freedom on the sands of time for all generations to follow. We salute this skilled freedom fighter and skilled negotiator, the Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson Sr.
Dr. Kim, I went to jail with a group of 7 students, July 17, 1960, almost 60 years ago. We never stopped moving. I lost a few jail cells in death. We never stopped moving. I thought it was time to write some of it down so the older generation can learn how we did, and what we did, and how global it was. Whether speaking about Mandela in South Africa, India, Qatar, about Gandhi in India, here at home. This book tells the story, so please get it for Christmas and give it to your friends. Read it, let's argue about it, let's discuss it.
Yep, so the book is Keeping Hope Alive, Sermons and Speeches of Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. It's quite a good collection. You know, we've got sermons and speeches from around the globe because you have made such a global impact, not just here in the U.S., but around the world.
Come on, everybody. You've made this a #1 bestseller. That it is on Amazon. I want to bring to you a group. Keep that music going. That's right. Just play it a little softly. I want to bring to you Grammy Award-winning West Side pastor, and indeed, he is one of our ministers of music here at Rainbow Push, the great Reverend Pastor Darius Brooks, and the world-famous Tommies, everybody. Come on.
And just so y'all know, I love my Reverend Jesse Jackson, and he want to hear this song again, and he want Rainbow Push Choir to sing with us, and I give Reverend Jackson what he want. I don't care what nobody say. So we're going to sing this again, and we want y'all to stand on your feet, and let's enjoy this thing. We just going to do another arrangement. Y'all ready? Come on, put those hands together.
Oh, deep in my heart, Come on, put those hands together. Yeah, we shall. Oh, we shall. Yeah, someday. Oh, deep. I still believe. Yeah, we shall, we shall, we shall, we shall. Yeah, come on. Oh, we shall. Oh, we shall overcome. We shall, we shall, we shall, we shall. those hands together. Yeah, yeah, we shall. Oh, it gets hot sometimes. It gets lonely sometime now. Let me stop it all.
The Tommies. And we thank God for Reverend Brunson today. We all came out of fellowship, didn't we? Amen to that. Ooh-wee. Come on, give it up for the Tommies, everybody. Pastor Darius Brooks. And we have yet another example of the work that we've been doing. Let's bring up this video package, everybody. Well, that's all right. We have the things we can talk about. This book, I'm very, very excited that no one was more surprised than I. Very happily surprised, but not shocked, that this book went to #1 on Amazon bestseller list. Significant. As we look at Christianity Today, the magazine founded by Reverend Dr. Billy Graham, saying that President Trump needs to be impeached. It's a moral imperative. And so I think there's something happening in America and in the world today, amen, in the world of Christendom, when we are hearing progressive voices, and that's not a progressive voice, but this man certainly is. I think that Jesus would agree with the kind of ministry that Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King had. Would you not agree with that? I think he would agree with the ministry that Reverend Jesse Jackson has had. Would you agree with that? And I think that we need to put our hands together and give them and you some love for being part of that ministry. So now, let us bring forward, don't you love Darius Brooks, Pastor Brooks? Do you want to hear some more from him? Come on, put your hands together and act like you mean it. All right, Pastor Brooks.
Enjoy yourself. I want y'all to wave your hand. Come on, wave your hand like this. Into my life. You can stand up if you want to. What up? Has come over me. How many of y'all know God's done some good things? Come on. Since he came. What a wonderful change. Has come over me. Anybody know what I'm singing about? Looked at my hands and they look new. Changed my mind. Took all doubting from my heart. I like this part right here. See, my Lord's done marvelous. Great things. How many of y'all know God done some great things? Oh, he's done wonderful. My Lord's done marvelous. Still doing great things. Still doing great things. Oh, my Lord's done marvelous. Great things. Every day, every hour. Oh, he's done wonderful. My Lord's done marvelous. Great things. I like this song right here. It goes, Jesus is a rock. What? How many of y'all know he's a rock? Come on, stand on your feet and wave your hand. If you know he's a rock. In between a rock and a hard place. Jesus is a rock. I don't care what nobody tell you. He's a good old rock. He'll pick you up, turn you around, place your feet on a solid ground. Yes, he is. Why don't y'all sing it with us? Y'all know this? Well, I don't know if you know this song right here, but if you don't, it's easy. It's called Over and Over. Come on. He keeps on blessing. Wave your hand like this. Over. He keeps on blessing me. Fill my cup and let it overflow. Fill my cup and let it overflow. Wait. Now check this out. The kingdom of heaven. And all of his righteousness. And he'll give you all the other stuff. But you got to first seek ye the kingdom of heaven. That's God's way. Do it God's way. And here's what he promised us. And all of the other things. He said they're going to be added. Wait. And then they get personal. How many of y'all know he's worthy to be praised? Y'all play too much. Anybody here know he's worthy? Let me see. I want you to stand on your feet. And I want y'all to do follow the leader. Wave your hands in the air. Wave them like you just don't care. Come on, put those hands up. And when I count to 3, I want y'all to have some fun with me. When I count to 3, I want you to leap with me. Y'all ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2. Here we go. Leap. Y'all ain't jumping over there. I like you, girl. I like you. Now wave your hand. Y'all gonna say, we sure exercised and push this morning. You know why? Because over and over, God keeps blessing us. Y'all ready, Tommies? Bless me.
Bless me.
Till
my
cup just
overflow.
Bless me till my cup just overflow. Yes, it is. Y'all ready, Tommies? Let's tell them. Till my cup just, I want it to overflow. Yeah. Till my cup just overflow. Y'all want him to bless you? Y'all want him to bless you? Come on, Tommies. To the east, in the west, in the north, with your wig on, with your nails done, with brand new shoes, with no shoes at all. Come on, Tommy, tell them. All over the place. Come on, wave your hand. Tell them I want them to bless me. Let me hear y'all sing it. Sing it. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Here we go. Y'all didn't hear us. Over. And here's when you need Jesus and don't need nobody. Woo. And then you just tell them, bless me.
Bless me.
Oh, you can do better than that. Come on, everybody. We do hope that you will join us for our Emancipation Day celebration from 10 to 12 at 930 East 50th Street. Reverend Jackson has reminded us over and over and over and over again that January 1st is not just the beginning of the new year. It's our Emancipation Day. Bishop, President Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation order, and he said January 1st, 1863, African Americans will be freed from bondage, freed from slavery. We have much to celebrate on January 1st. Will you join us at 930 East 50th Street? Come on, everybody. We hope to have Emancipation Day celebrations all around the country, all around the world, celebrating, commemorating our freedom. And Maurice Mahan, let's bring Reverend Jackson on. This man has been on the move for 60 years, in and out of season, in sickness and in health and in sickness. He has been with us. No one has been more faithful. No one has been closer to us than this man that we're bringing before you now. Dr. King pulled him out of graduate school because he said he's such a great organizer. And we used to meet in this very room. And God has brought us a mighty long ways in more than 50 years, in almost 60 years. Everybody put your hands together for the man who's kept hope alive. Put your hands together. Who's told us that we are somebody. Put your hands together for the founder of this organization, the Reverend Jesse Louis Jackson Sr.
I am somebody. Oh, I am somebody. I may be down, but not destroyed. Empty, but not void, 'cause I am somebody. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, God made me so I am. Hey, at the end of this day, turn to walk away, say I am. Hey, I am somebody. Oh, I am somebody. I may be down, but I'm not destroyed. Empty, but not void, 'cause I am somebody. So I am somebody. Oh, at the end of this day, turn and walk away, say, I am somebody. I am somebody. I am somebody. I am somebody. Respect me, protect me, never neglect me. I am somebody. If my mind can conceive it and my heart can believe it, I know I can achieve it. Stop the violence, save the children. Stop the violence, save the children. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. I am somebody. I am somebody. Put your hands together, put your hands together. We'll leave here today at 1 o'clock at the funeral for Mayor Richard Gordon Hatcher and Gary Indiana. The first two African American mayors elected in America was Hatcher and Carl Stokes. Stokes was installed first, he elected on the same day, but Gary became our civil rights capital. We all went to Gary because Hatcher convened us. 10,000 convened in Gary in 71. We had these big landmark moments, 54 Supreme Court decision, 55 Montgomery bus boycott, 65 right to vote, Dr. King killed in 68, then we were
scattered. Dr. King died, we were torn apart. Hatcher convened the family. All comes after Hatcher. After Hatcher comes Coleman Young in Detroit, Tom Bradley. Say Hatcher was a transformer. Dick Hatcher made a difference. On your feet, sure love it, Dick Hatcher. Show your love, show your love. Last week we went to Pembroke, Illinois. Pembroke is in Kankakee County. A group of black farmers facing the lynch mobs came up here and turned the century. Every township in Kankakee County has running water, natural gas pipelines, internet, except Pembroke. We're going to change that. Headline Days Tribune, can we pull it off? See, we will revive Pembroke. If we have the faith, God has the power to see us through. We celebrate the Mass of Christ, not the foolishness of Santa. You know, shall we deal with the birth of Christ or the bill payments to Santa? Santa's a frolic day, a bill day. Jesus is a sacred day. You can't see Santa unless you pay him. Jesus, come as you are. Say, Christmas, the Mass of Christ, is a holy day, a day to celebrate the poor, those who are abandoned, locked out, whose backs against the wall. You know, Helen Crowley in Streeterville, not far from here, the average length of life is 90 years. Inglewood, 60 years. 9 miles apart. 90 years, 60 years, 9 miles apart. We seem to have adjusted to that situation. I told you last week what struck me so much about the young man being tossed over the police shoulder and he crushed his head to the sidewalk is that it happened on 79th Street in broad daylight. With a cup in one hand and a telephone talking to his mother on the other. All of a sudden she lost it because his head was busted on the sidewalk. What struck me about it is not that the police did it, our silence. It happened near some churches. They said nothing. It was in the black ward. City councilman said nothing. State rep said nothing. State citizens. We have an obligation. Speak up and speak out. We're not going to watch these riches that flow in Illinois and leave Pembroke in the hole. Say, Pembroke is our town. Our people live. We're going to make it one of our projects. On Christmas Day, we're going to Cook County Jail. 9,000 inmates in Cook County, the largest jail in America. Many of them have been there 5 to 7 years waiting for pretrial detention. Some are in no hurry to leave because it's a homeless shelter. Warm in the wintertime, cool in the summertime, organized recreation. A homeless shelter. Those in jail have the right to register. We should register them to vote. I went to see them October 8th and I said, Reverend, why should we register? I said, you can vote for judges. He said, what? Yeah. I said, if I'm in jail, I have the right to vote for judges. I have the right to serve on the jury. If I'm enfranchised with the power to vote, I can determine my destiny. We're also going to get them computer training. We want those young people sitting around all day long watching television. 1/3 of them are sick mentally, so they give them drugs and sit around and sleep high all day long. We'll teach them computer science. Want them to learn through apps and codes and programming. So they come out there to have a job. There are more computer jobs than there are people. We shall educate our children wherever they are. If they're in jail, we should visit them. If they're in jail, we should register them. But we should teach them to read, write, count, and compute. So now some of them we're going to meet with the judge on Tuesday. Last year, 6 of them went to the judge. They've been vetted. They spent more time in jail than their sentence was. Judge put them out. But some of them don't want to leave jail. Have no place to go. Everybody jump up and touch the basement. We're going to change our condition. So we're going to Cook County Jail on Christmas Day, as we have done for the last 40 years. Tonight there will be a party at Rainbow Push. It's kind of a family celebration of our Push family. How many of you have a student in your house, student loan debt? Student loan debt. Student loan debt. Student loan debt is greater than credit card debt. Young people cannot go to college because they can't. See, if you have student loan debt more than you can pay, on the one hand, cut Pell Grants, on the other, Parent Plus loans, can't borrow money for your children, and then cut food stamps, you die. That's what this fight's about. It's like dropping a casket in the ground. Cut food stamps. The day after Thanksgiving, all the television and people feeding hungry people. The day after Thanksgiving, they cut food stamps the day after. So we as a nation must be better than that. Lastly, I want to make this appeal to you today, beside these books. Some of you, we sent out several thousand letters this week. Watching us on television. We're trying to get 1,000 people to put up $1,000 for our building. Someone sent $1,000 in this week because we're not going in debt. See, we will rebuild, reconstruct, and the national headquarters. Here, Washington spoke there. Mandela spoke there. Barack Obama spoke there. As I landed and said, we will rebuild. Some of you who are watching today on television, be a part of helping us in our quest to have a roof over our heads. I want to bring to us today a special officer in our organization, Reverend Todd Yeary, pastor of Douglas Memorial Church in Baltimore, our senior vice president in charge of our D.C. Bureau administration. Brilliant man, profound preacher, minister, PhD, and lawyer. I want him to come and address us today. But before he comes, I want Brother Darius Bruce to give us a little bit of your will. Next voice, he'll be Reverend Todd Yeary, Baltimore, Maryland. Put your hands together, Reverend Todd Yeary.
We ready? That's the phone. Oh, Lord. Your will is what's best for me. Y'all help me sing, will you? I wish I can tell you just what I want, Lord, and you give it to me. Well, go ahead. Go on, Ralph. Yeah, we might as well go and do it right, amen. That's not it, Ralph. Lord Jesus. That's not it, Ralph. Oh, I can sing that too, though. But go on, your will. Okay. Yeah, y'all give it up for Ralph. Ralph, that's not it. That's not it. Come on, Brian. Yeah. Y'all give it up for Brian and the band. Come on. Oh, this song has changed my life. I wish I can tell you just what I want, and you give it to me just like that. The truth of the matter, and what I want just might hurt me, and you won't let me go out like that. Lord, you know my end before my beginning, and it's calculated blessings down to the penny. So Lord, I'll work till you tell me to let it go, let it be. 'Cause oh Lord, found out your will. The way you got this thing, it's what's best for me. Help me, Tommies. No rubies and no diamonds and no silver, oh, no pearls. My Lord, there are some lessons that I had to learn that I wouldn't trade in for this world. You told me that my trials, everything that I go through, they only come to make me strong. And with this you promised that while I'm dealing with this thing, you wouldn't leave me alone. So I'll cry, let it go. 'Cause if I let it go, oh Lord, my Lord, your will, your will, your will, your will, your will, your word. Good God Almighty, and it's gonna last. How many of y'all believe that? God's gonna guide my future like he's brought me out of my past. Oh, my Lord, you told me that my trials, they only come to make me strong. Yeah. With this you promised that you will never leave me alone. So I'll cry. Let it go. If you let it go and give it to God and tell God, oh Lord, my Lord, your will, your will, your will, your will, your word. Good God Almighty, and it's gonna last. Yes, it will. You're gonna guide my future. Yes, you will, like you brought me out of my past. Hey. There are times that I cannot see, but I know that I know it's so. God, you love me more. I said you love me more. Oh, my Lord, you love me more than I'll ever know, than I'll ever know, then I'll ever know. Then I'll ever know. Then I'll ever know. You bring me through the storm. You bring me through the rain. You bring me through my sickness. You bring me through my pain. You bless me when I'm up. You bless me when I'm down. And let me tell you why I wrote this song. Some of y'all might not understand. But I know God got our best interests at heart. And I know at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what it looked like. He got the end story. He got the last word. He got the way this thing gonna turn out for real. So I was in New York. And I was sitting at the piano. And I said, God, I know I can do what I do. And that's when he whispered in my ear. And he said, I know what you could do. And you good. He said, you all right. He said, but you know it ain't going to turn out your way.
Come on now. Come on now.
He said, you know I got to have it my way.
Yes.
And that's when I humbled myself and figured this thing out. If you ever want to hear God laugh, tell him your plans. After writing, after singing, after running, after doing everything I know to do. And y'all know I got energy, don't you? I'm sweating like a Hebrew slave and still got some in it. But God had to get me and say, until you let me do you, until you let me work this out, you ain't gonna have no peace. And that's what I told him. So I'll cry till you tell me to let it go. Let it be. I've never had so much peace in all my life. Because, oh Lord, come on, help me sing it. Oh Lord, your will, sing it with me, is what's best.
How we are grateful and inspired by the ministry of Pastor Darius Brooks. Brother Darius, you're not the only one that can say that song changed their life. As a new pastor in Batavia, not far from here, I remember when the song came out. Many Sunday mornings, I would play it on the way in, because very often the work seems to be harder than you anticipated. That's why anniversaries are important, because they allow us to reflect and celebrate while we're still moving. We still have much work to do, even though there's much that we have accomplished. So we have to be careful that our celebrations don't become our intoxication. We can get drunk on the shout and forget to keep on working. And so we take a pause by the side of the road today as we celebrate this work in progress, birthed more than a half century ago around a commitment to justice cannot be realized unless there is conflict. Conflict produces the character of the justice fighter. And some folks try to bring about justice by force. Others bring about justice by example. We celebrate at this rest stop the living example of our leader, Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson, Sr. We applaud him because of his name, but we don't understand the struggles that he fights daily to overcome just to keep on fighting. The Bible declares that 70 are the number of a man's days, 80 if he has a measure of strength. And at almost now 80 years and counting, he still pushes himself against a diagnosis and a condition that says his mind and his body will decline. He does not consider it offensive or an imposition that he still puts the best of who he is out there for us every single day that he opens his eyes. And so we now all thank him, because at 78, some folks would have sat down a long time ago. But he still comes on behalf of the people and declares what is just in the name of God. I only have a few moments, but I want to highlight a couple of things real quick. One, the prophet is known by his words. You can actually have some of the prophet's words in your library. I'm going to lift it up again. He mentioned it, but I don't think it's been mentioned enough. We too easily forget the moral example and the inspiration that comes from the words of our prophets. And now we have a catalog from key points along the way, not nearly exhaustive, but enough to keep us inspired. If you do not have a copy of Keeping Hope Alive, you are missing an excuse in the season where you can buy everything else. Tell your neighbor, buy this book. Yeah, buy this book. Because I promise you, it will not only encourage, it will inspire, but it will also inform from a historical context. I also want to make mention that as we get ready for the start of the new year, the King holiday, the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. holiday is coming. We want you to go ahead and make your plans to attend our Martin Luther King Jr. Day breakfast here in Chicago. If you want more information, you can certainly call the office and get your tickets so that you can be in the place as we will gather on January 20th at the Hyatt Regency here in Chicago. It's our annual scholarship breakfast. We invest in our future, and we want you to be a part of it. Somebody on the staff's going to give me my time check, because I need to know when I need to take my exit so we can do this appropriately. But when Reverend asked me if I would speak today, part of the obligation says yes, and then you think about the daunting obligation to stand before people at a time of celebration, and you wonder, what do I say? So I prayed about it. And the Lord took me to the book of Nehemiah, chapter number 4. The first 6 verses from the Message translation read like this. When Sanballat heard that we were rebuilding the wall, he exploded in anger, vilifying the Jews. In the company of his Samaritan cronies and military, he let loose. What are these miserable Jews doing? Do they think they can get everything back to normal overnight, make building stones out of make-believe? At his side, Tobiah the Ammonite jumped in and said, "That's right. What do they think they're building? Why, if a fox climbed that wall, it would fall to pieces under his weight." Nehemiah prayed, "Oh, listen to us, dear God. We're so despised. Boomerang their ridicule on their heads, have their enemies cart them off as war trophies to a land of no return. Don't forgive their iniquity. Don't wipe away their sin. They've insulted the builders." We kept at it, repairing and rebuilding the wall. The whole wall was soon joined together and halfway to its intended height because the people had a heart, had a mind for the work. I want to talk to you just real quick on this tag, the mindset of a movement. The mindset of a movement. We have been in shock this week with the anticipated arrival of a statement from a Congress about the behavior of a president that has offended the moral sensibilities of everybody, and even now we recognize even the evangelical right. For almost 3 years now, we have continued to deal with the insults of a president that has no moral center, no sense of justice, no respect for process, just bent on distorting what would otherwise be right for his own personal benefit and for those of his allies. It doesn't matter whether you're a Democrat or a Republican. It doesn't matter whether you're for big government or states' rights. At some point, some things ought to just offend your sensibilities. This isn't a partisan issue. It's a practical issue that at some point in time, someone's going to rise to power that's going to test the efficacy of our commitment to moral justice and determine whether or not we would at least call folks out for what they're doing against the interest of the people. We recognize that this president has some allies, his own Sanballat and Tobiah, one named Mitch McConnell, who in his pragmatic execution of his job has said he's going to fill every available judicial vacancy on the federal bench by the end of this Congress, even if it means he must put the most unqualified among us in those seats to make determinations about justice. He has said that he's going to cut the support for poor people. You can't get SNAP at the levels that you once did because he thinks you ought to be able to go get a job at 20 hours a week that's going to allow you to justify your penance from the state. But the truth of the matter is that in Chicago and urban areas around the country, it takes $30 an hour to be able to support one adult and one child. That means at minimum wage at the federal level at $7.25. It means you would have to work 4 full-time jobs in a 24-hour period to be able to make it in America. The truth of the matter is we've got a condition that warrants that somebody must call us to rebuild the walls of despair and establish hope again in America. And it means then that we must have a mindset for a movement. Everybody's not cut out for this work. If we were to be honest about it, we recognize that when we're in the midst of the struggle, you can't find too many folks to link arms with you, to stand tall with you, to call out justice with you. It is only after the revision comes, when the victory's been won, that all of a sudden folks want to say, I was there. But the truth of the matter is that transformative justice happens with a few people so that it can change the lives of the many. The truth of the matter is is we came this far by faith, but we didn't have a big army to do it. And the truth of the matter is it's not going to be a big army that's going to carry us forward. Ask your neighbor, are you in it or are you out? Yeah, you got to find out, because, see, when you go into the army, I know we have a draft, but this is a volunteer commitment toward justice. Are you ready to fight, or are you going to sit back and wait and see whether or not you're going to be able to lay claim later for a victory that you had no stake in? I want to talk to you because Nehemiah raises the issue. When they started rebuilding the wall, their enemies were offended at their resilience. See, sometimes folks are not going to wait until you finish to decide they want to hate you. Just waking up in the morning and saying, I will not be satisfied with my condition, is enough to stoke the vitriol coming from the other side, simply because you said to yourself, this ain't good enough for me. The problem amongst us is Trump rises not by accident, but by design. Because in the 400th year since our recorded arrival in these United States, even though we had been here about a century before, what they're uptight about is the fact that we have been persistent in our resilience fighting against injustice. We had to fight against slavery, and then we had to fight against Jim Crow, and then we had to fight. We are sanctuary. We are a sanctuary.
When I think of Rainbow Push, I think of two words: social justice.
Education advocacy.
Political empowerment.
Freedom and equality.
Corporate partnership.
Stop the violence. Save the children. Don't give.
Built off the tenacity of our volunteers. We love our volunteers. Join us. We meet every Tuesday. Call to attend this week's meeting call. We can't wait to meet you. Keep hope alive. For more information, contact Ms. Michelle Chambers at 773-256-2526.
Get involved with the movement.
Somebody. I may be poor, but I am somebody.
Join the movement.
If you're not a member, become a member.
I am somebody. Fighting the most important battles for freedom and justice for all.
You made us change. Oh, trying to bring closer.
Join Rainbow Push.
But you're not pushing me away.
Join the movement. Join Rainbow Push.
Jesse Jackson, you had this assumption that somehow or other it was not important enough to raise Pembroke to the forefront. If you did not have the voice of a Jesse Jackson to be able to talk about detainees in jails across the country being able to vote, some folks would think that somehow or other they were getting what they deserve. But when you have a prophet in the house, I said when you have a prophet in the house, they may not tell you what you want to hear, but he'll tell you what you need to hear. And at the end of the day, here's what Nehemiah said: I'm not coming down until the work is completed. Tell your neighbor, we got more work to do. Keep on building. We got work to do. Keep on struggling. We got work to do. Keep on marching. We got work to do. Keep on voting until we get what is owed us, because 400 years of sacrifice warrants that we not give up now. Dr. King once said that oppressed people can't always remain oppressed forever. Sooner or later, those who have been held down going to decide that they're going to get up. And when they decide to get up, they may not have the same resource, but here's what they have to have. They have to have a mindset for a movement. The mindset for a movement says, I do not evaluate the potential for my outcome by an arbitrary set of standards. I do it based on my assessment of the power that I'm tapped into that's going to fuel my progress. Y'all missed your shout right there, so let me see if I can go and help somebody right here. Every time we grew up, see, I was from, my mama was from Florence, South Carolina, Reverend. We kind of like homeboys to some degree. And the truth of the matter is, when my grandmother would get up from her bed with rheumatoid arthritis in the back room at the house, where we had the lectern behind the lazy boy because Aunt Ernestine had church in the den. We would take the wooden plank chairs out and lay them out because we would have church as a family after all of the aunties and my mama would cook breakfast on Sunday. Y'all ain't talking back to me. Maybe I'm just talking to myself. And so she would come out and she would remind herself that though her hands were deformed, and though her pain ran deep, what she understood was she was not dealing with her own strength. She was leaning on the strength of God. Somebody in here knows that when you can't make it on your own, you just got to lean on God. When you're not sure how you're going to make it, you just got to keep on trusting God. Because here's what I know about God. He's never lost a case. Y'all ain't going to talk to me. If we were to go back to the book and understand who we're dealing with, when God is on our side, I wish I had some help right about here. When God is on our side, you may have to cry sometime, but he'll wipe every tear from your eyes. Can I get a witness here? You may have to decide to keep on pressing, but he won't let you turn around because he has an eye for where you're going. High five your neighbor and tell your neighbor God is on our side. And when you believe that God is on your side, you won't give up. When you know God is on your side, you won't give in. When you know God is on your side, you'll keep on pressing, even when folks are doubting your progress. Here's what they said: we rebuilt the wall to half its height because the people had a mind to work. This ain't about strength. This is about your mind. Some folks try to tell you out your mind to believe that God's going to give us justice. You out your mind to believe that we ought to have economic parity. You're out of your mind to decide that somehow or other in this America that you ought get something that this America never wanted you to have. If I were to just tap into, since we got the Tommies behind us, I might as well use the theology of the Tommies. You can't just have them back there and not at least reference them because they help many of us finish our sermons. If I were to help finish a sermon, the reason you know you're going to get a complete wall, because I believe the Tommy said somewhere that things will work out. I said things will work out. Things will work out for the good of them. I said for the good of them. I said one more time, for the good of them who love the Lord. Here's where I need to ask my question. Do you love the Lord? Do you believe that his power is all you need? Do you understand he'll be a bridge over troubled water? He'll be a lily in the valley. He'll be your bright and morning star. Things will work out for the good of them who love the Lord. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on Jesus, Mary's baby. He is the one who makes all things possible. We're gonna win. We're gonna make it. It's gonna be all right because things will work out for the good of them who love the Lord.
Come on, put your hands together, will you? Listen. Yesterday, a man stepped to me. He said, how can you smile when your world is tumbling down? I said, here's my secret, y'all. When I want to cry, I take a look around and I see that I'm getting by, and I hold on. Change is coming. Come on, y'all. Hold on. Don't worry about it. Hold on. You can make it. Said, hold on. Everything. Listen now. Some people like to worry. Some like to cry. And some like to run away from that pain inside. Now that's their business. Y'all, you can do what you want to do. But if it don't work out, here's what you ought to do. You ought to hold on. Change is coming. Hold on. Don't worry. Oh, my Lord, hold on. You can make it. Said, hold on. Everything. Now when the troubles of life, they weigh you down, here's what we gotta do. Lift your head up high. And when the love you see is hard to find, don't give up. Don't give up. Hold on and be right there. Hold on. A change is coming. Hold on. Don't worry. Oh, hold on. Change is coming. Hold on. Don't worry. Troubles of life just weigh you down. All you see is hard to find. Don't give up, don't give up, don't give up. Just hold on. Change is coming. Hold on. And don't worry about a thing. Hold on. Change is coming. Just hold on. And don't worry. Just hold on. Change is coming. Hold on. Don't worry. Oh, hold on. Change is coming. Oh, hold on. Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. Hold on. Yeah.
Put your hands together. Now, Son Peter, I see Vicky back there. Vicky, stand up again, Vicky. I want to say that I'm very disturbed that they reduced the birth of Christ to sex and trickery for those who have money. But somehow I'm convinced if it were not for the Lord on our side, where would we go? I tell you, I'm going to send the same little this to me and Vicky. The Christmas I remember the most, children remember more, said children remember more when you took them than what you bought them. Man used to come to the house named Mr. Dave Robinson. Mr. Dave couldn't read, couldn't write. He made an X for his name. And so This Christmas, Mama was sick and Daddy lost his job. We went to church that night and brought back apples and oranges, bananas. On our doorstep, somebody made a mistake, put the groceries. The mama said, no, there's no not groceries. We don't, all they didn't have any money. Mr. Dave came out and said, you know, hell, I couldn't read and couldn't write. I made X. I got my check and I got your groceries. So God has a way of coming on time when you need him. Santa to give you just a little bit with the choir. Come on, choir. Lord on my side. They wouldn't take her out. No, they had the God on my side.
Okay. We sang that before already. Let's pick it up a little bit.